why do we cheat so many people from feeling good or great when they offer to give us something and we're like, no, it's okay? Why would you do that when you know how good it feels when you're like, hey, can I get you that? Can I pay for that? Can I open this door? Why would we deny the goodness that exists? Since 1981, Justin has been producing world-class Bordeaux-style wines from Paso Robles on California's Central Coast. As the pioneer of Paso, Justin wines are what put Paso Robles on the winemaking map. The Justin team believes that wine should be exceptional from every angle, which is why their team uses boutique winemaking practices like hand harvesting and hand sorting. With a rich history of accolades, Justin produces exceptional wines and is proud to be America's #1 luxury Cabernet. Whether you're the first-time wine drinker or a wine aficionado, Justin has a wine for every celebration and occasion. Visit justinwine.com and enter promo code Playbook20 for 20% off your order. Justin offers the perfect holiday gifts for clients, colleagues, friends, or family. Be sure to check them out at justinwine.com to receive 20% off your order for a limited time and use the promo code Playbook20.
Thanks for being here, Dave.
Thank you, Dr. G, and it's great to see you again. And I've kept my eye on the progress that you've made, and congratulations to start off. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely, man. I really am so happy that you were able to take some time for this, because I wanted to talk to you mostly about relationships. One of the things that I've watched you do masterfully, which is include other people and tell their stories and connect with them in a way that very few people can do. And we have a little bit of time today, obviously pretty short period of time. So I want to dive right into that and just talk a lot about relationships. And I also want to talk a lot about this new role that you're in with the Napoleon Hill as the chairman, and what that means and what Napoleon Hill means to you. And so let's dive into this. Let's talk about relationships and why you're so good at those, and what are your strategies and tactics that you put in place for that?
Well, first, it's prioritizing relationships relative to time. And so we have to have non-negotiable relationships that we pay attention and give attention to every single day with a minimum amount of time. So let me use my 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters and a son. My 3 daughters are in their 20s. I give them a minimum of 2 minutes a day every day of my life. Now, 2 minutes a day may not sound like a lot, but number one, it's minimum. 2, if you know 20-year-olds, they don't want to spend more than 2 minutes a day usually with you. But 3, the part that most people don't understand, especially when it comes to relationships, is 2 minutes a day is worth 2 hours on a Saturday. When you're consistently touching and communicating and staying up to date, it doesn't take very long. In fact, I give my mom, who's most relative to me, a minimum of 1 minute a day because I know what's important to her. She needs to know 4 things about me. 1, I'm happy. 2, I'm healthy. 3, I love her. And 4, I appreciate her. So I take an extra minute a day, minimum, sometimes way more, but a minimum, and that's worth hours on a weekend, and it's much more efficient. And so the first thing is, where are those non-negotiable relationships that you're going to stay with no matter what the circumstances of the day? Which is exactly what leads me to the other thing that I'm really good at, which is, according to the circumstances of the day, who is most relative to me? Meaning, who can I help and who can help me? And that's how I formulate relativity. And so I have all of these people, and I use the circumstances of the day to make sure that those people that may not be as relative have association or feed me as much as my kids and my mom. But now I'm using the circumstances of the day and a criteria of who I can help and who can help me according to the circumstances of the day in order to facilitate utilizing my relationships to provide value. Because remember, value only is derived in 2 ways: giving people what they like or taking away some, if not all, of what they don't like. And so when we derive our relationships from who we can help and who can help us, it's the fastest way to get to where we want to be. But in order to get to where we want to be or better, you better take into account the circumstances of the day, the weather, the fires, the interest rates, because, I may have the best relationship with a mortgage guy, but if mortgage rates are 10%, that's not too relative today. And I can't help that person too much or know people that can help them, or they can't help me too much because I'm not willing to take a mortgage at 10%. Now, if in the far chance that I run into someone that wants a mortgage, according to the circumstances of the day, the person wanting that mortgage, I'll call the 10% mortgage guy. So I have actually systematically created a framework to maximize the relativity of people, the associations I have with those people, and how much I can feed them or they can feed me according to the circumstances of the day. Outside, I never prioritize the negotiable relationships with the non-negotiable, my wife, my kids, my mom.
That's awesome, man. What that right there was that was like 3 minutes of greatness right there. Like you could live your entire life on that phrase or that statement that you just made over that few minutes. I mean, seriously. So I love the idea. So one of the things that I ran into, and I love what you said, you systematically created a prioritization schedule or something to prioritize. I love that. Something I ran into was overwhelm of connections, overwhelm of people that wanted something from me, or that, I didn't know what they did want, or I couldn't give them something because I didn't know. I wanted to connect them with somebody, but like, who was it? So how did you do that? Like, how did that come about?
It's so funny, right? Because the antidote to feeling overwhelmed or procrastinating, which is the two things that mostly get in the way of people, especially entrepreneurs, they feel overwhelmed because they live in abundance. Like you, Dr. G, you live in abundance, so you have more than enough people that need help and more than enough people you can help.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, if you learn a prioritization system, prioritization is the antidote to feeling overwhelmed. Meaning, if you know what to do now and you know what to do next, it's impossible to procrastinate, and you know how to prioritize what to do now and what to do next. And we only can do that if we know what we want in its relativity to who we can help and who can help us. Now we figure out according to how much time that we have planned or unplanned, paid for or unpaid for, to spend on the prioritization of who can we help. One other nuance within the context of this prioritization that I'm really good at is understanding I want to help everyone, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. I created buckets by looking at the clues of all the people in my life, the patterns of all the people in my life, and allowing them to have choices. So according to the people that require, and I have millions, as you know now, that ask me for help, I have the free bucket, I have a group bucket, I have a one-on-one personal bucket, and a one-on-many business advisory bucket. So I can quickly assess how can I be of service or value. See, the two things I'm trying to assess at all time in that value perspective of giving what you like or taking away what you don't like is, would it help you if, or do you know anyone that can help me? Because that satisfies that rule. So for me, very quickly, hey, what are you doing today pertaining to what you're interested in, subject matter, topic, or expertise? And I asked, would it help you if you came to my free meetup? Would it help you if we had the group? I have a private networking group with thousands of people that are here to buy from each other and sell for each other. Would it help you if I work with you one-on-one? I have a wait list for that. Or would it help if I work with your organization or corporation in this manner? And I also always ask, which grows my community, do you know anyone that can help me? I'm looking for more people to help for free, that'll read my book, that'll join my group, that'll work personally one-on-one or as a company, as a business advisor. Do you know anyone that can help me? And slowly but surely, my community exponentially grows because not only am people are joining for me, they're selling people to join for me. And that community grows and grows and grows. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them, because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, Give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/playbook today to get a 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/playbook. Imagine starting a small business, your first customer, first hire, first real paycheck. But everything isn't just exciting, it's scary. That's where JustWorks come in, the all-in-one platform that supports small business growth. Access seamless tools that help with benefits, payroll, HR, and compliance with transparent pricing. It's time to make payroll painless, run payroll in 90 seconds or less, and automate payments so you can set it and forget it. Did you know in 2023 alone, they processed over 25.6 billion in trusted payroll customers? Don't worry about the paperwork piling up either. They take care of payroll tax documents and reporting to help you stay compliant. Visit justworks.com/podcast to join the thousands of small businesses that trust JustWorks to take care of payroll, benefits, compliance, and more. That's justworks.com/podcast.
I'll tell you a quick story that really struck me. I've never seen this before. I've been to a lot of events, and I've been to a lot of speaking engagements where I was the keynote or I was listening, and I've been to online and done a lot of things like that. Well, when we were recording Office Hours, this was a year and a half ago or so in Vegas, and you had that we had this awesome studio, which was an amazing experience. You did a great job of setting that up. Your team was amazing. And you had guys standing out front handing out your book as people walked by. And I remember there was a little table, two stools out in the front of it. And I'm sitting there watching this and I'm just like, this guy's just handing out his book. No, it didn't need anything from anybody. Just like, I'm here to serve. I'm here to give. And I love that you lead with how can I be of service, which is why you've grown to your network's so big and so amazing, is because people know he's not here to take, he's here to give. And that's so hard for so many people. So how do you lead with that service without the expectation to get?
It's so funny you said that because it was learned later on in life. Obviously, I lost everything 18 years ago, over $100 million. And I used to give to get. And that's a very scarce thing. It makes giving a negotiation or a trade. So if you're not sure you're going to get back, right? We're giving to get. You're not going to stand in the lobby of the Wynn Hotel in front of your studio just giving books out. Now, I believe the more you give, the more you receive, but I also believe there's some nuances that I've learned and I help to empower people with. Number one, you have to receive more than you give, or eventually you're not going to have anything to give. So our teachers, our first responders, all of these kind and generous people that think that it's automatic that they give everything and more is going to come back to them. That's not true. So we need to make sure that we give more, and then we elevate our awareness with faith that we're given more. And the problem is people aren't aware because the evidence isn't always obvious, or the evidence may be contrary when we give, that we're going to get something back, or we're going to end up where we want to be or better, is another example. So you got to have faith that, okay, I'm giving, but the evidence says nothing's going to come back and I'm not going to get to where I want to be. So I got to have faith that there's something bigger than me, something infinite that's protecting me, promoting me, loving me, and perfecting me, not punishing me. Because too many people would feel punished when the evidence is not there or contrary to the actions or behaviors of giving. So I call it, the more we give, the more we're given. But you got to use gratitude and forgiveness to elevate your awareness to all that we're given. So when I lost everything, had to tell my mom that I lost everything, including her home, which was the only reason I wanted to be rich, lost over $100 million. It took a lot of gratitude and forgiveness for me to realize that circumstance was one giving me more than punishing me. That it actually was putting me in a better place because I had some lessons to learn. And if but for me doing that, I probably would be divorced and or most likely dead. And so, yes, it took me a little time to garner the gratitude and forgiveness to figure out how something that traumatic could be protecting me, promoting me, loving and perfecting me, not punish me. The third component is we got to learn to receive more. How many people, Greg, and you know these people, you might be one, they don't feel good about receiving. Now, I changed that around. I said, then you have no faith. There's more than enough of everything. Because if you knew there was more than enough of everything, you definitely would feel, number one, good about receiving. But two, you would feel good about receiving even if you didn't have that faith because you love to give. And why do we cheat so many people from feeling good or great when they offer to give us something and we're like, no, no, it's okay? Why would you do that when you know how good it feels when you're like, hey, can I get you that? Can I pay for that? Can I open this door? Right? Why will we deny the goodness that exists? And then finally, my last action of faith, ask for more. When I want something, Greg, I picture me and you, say you were the person that I wanted to ask for more from. So when I say to you, man, can you help me? I'm looking to grow my private networking group, more people like you that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. Can you help me introduce me to more people to join my group? You know what I do? I shut my eyes and think of all the people in the world that we can help together. And I'm like, shit, well, there's more than enough people. Why, if I want a Ferrari, I picture 10 Ferraris and be like, Greg, can I buy your Ferrari from you? I only have this much right now. I picture 10 Ferraris, more than enough Ferraris for you. And so that's the faith that I have. Here's the formula. When you give more, you're given more. When you're given more, you receive more. When you ask for more, you end up with more than more. Now you can give more than more, be given more than more, receive more than more, ask for more than more than more. And when I'm 81, I'm going to have more than enough of everything for everyone instead of my mom, who is so much more generous and kind than I am, but she's always given everything and never felt good receiving or asking for more. So now she's lived in a zero-sum game and has nothing to give.
Mm-hmm. I think that's, first of all, that's an enlightened statement. Enlightened, like we talk about gratitude, appreciation, and being grateful for the events in our lives, even the negative events, because like you said, you learn something from an event that would have probably crushed a lot of people. I know a lot of people that were crushed by very, much lesser events or an issue that they ran into. And it's taking that, instead of being a victim in that moment, it's saying, how can I learn and grow from this? What was the experience? And how can I be better because of this thing? Not I'm bad because of this thing, or I'm, lesser than because of this thing. And I talk about that a lot, looking back at your life, looking at events and reframing them, repicturing them. What was it trying to teach you? So you're appreciative and grateful for that. And that's one of the things that I love listening to you talk about. You're so passionate about it, but that formula you just talked about, people can dive into that and practice it until it becomes who they are. And so how would somebody do that? How would they practice that to become that person that accepts
it's a very
and
common
receives
question
it?
for me. So I created 5 daily practices to do that. And I send it to everyone for free, as you know, David at dmeltzer.com. Just understand, I will send you the template, the exercise, and the guide on the infinite loop of giving. And there's 5 daily practices that take into account the what, the who, the how, the now, and applying our why according to the circumstances of the day, non-negotiable, negotiable behaviors, and aligning the one thing that limits our future that most people overlook, which is the meaning of the past. And so you need to align the meaning of the failure, setbacks, mistakes, successes, defining moments, historical relevances that you usually utilize to stop you from getting to where you want to be or better. Instead, I teach you to use the 5 daily practices of the what, that who, the how, the now, and applying the why in order to effectuate within the circumstances of the day, negotiable, non-negotiable behaviors, taking into account the meaning to expand your imagination, to expand your self-image, because there's one thing I do know, and I don't need to be a doctor to know it, you'll never overachieve your own self-image. And
Mm.
so if I can create less limitations, we're able to do it. In fact, that's why, as we kind of finish up, why I got involved with Napoleon Hill Institute, why I'm the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, why I'm so passionate about Napoleon Hill, is that Napoleon Hill was the seminal personal development master, the mind, the body, and the soul. What the mind can conceive, the body can achieve. And whether it's Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, How to Sell Through Life, or the 17 Laws of Success, almost every successful entrepreneur was impacted by Napoleon Hill's works. And so, considering how my understanding of business and content exists today in a more modern fashion, by having guys like David Meltzer and Dr. Greg Pursley doing podcasts and creating media together on Riverside, I think I can amplify and reinvigorate to the youngest generations out there in the way they like to feed off of great ideas. I think I can help as chairman to make sure that Napoleon Hill and all of his great work continues to have the impact that it had over the last 100 years. And I'm really looking forward to take it to the next 100 years and hand it off to someone smarter than me to do the same. So super excited about that opportunity. Anyone that wants to get involved, if you want the daily practices, if you want my book, please reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com.
And we have all the links down below, all your social media, your website as well. So everybody click on those links. Dave has been a major influence in my life in not just connecting me with other people, but in the positive mindset aspect as well. He's a really great example of somebody to follow, to learn about yourself, to follow some practices to where you can grow individually. And I'm appreciative and grateful more than you'll ever know, Dave. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to seeing what you're going to do with the Napoleon Hill Foundation as well.
Well, we're going to do it with you, Greg. So we appreciate you. Thanks. This is a great show. And thank you, everyone, for following Dr. Greg Pursley as well. Remember, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody.